Hi, I'm Bonita Weddle. I'm the coordinator of the Electronic Records Unit at the New York State Archives, and my job is to ensure that computer files and multimedia materials of enduring value are preserved and made accessible over time. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can ensure that your computer files and multimedia materials remain intact and accessible over your lifetime. As we all know, electronic materials are becoming a lot more popular than traditional paper and analog materials. Instead of writing letters, a lot of us use email, and digital cameras such as this are now a lot more popular. And audio CDs have replaced traditional analog audio cassettes such as this. Likewise, DVDs are replacing analog video cassettes. People think that electronic materials are a lot more durable and a lot more stable than paper and film. In reality, they're actually much more fragile. And there are a number of reasons for this. First off, hardware and storage media change very rapidly. For example, a few years ago, 3.5-inch diskettes such as this were ubiquitous. You find them in everyone's home, everyone's office. Nowadays, most computers being sold lack drives that can read these disks. For instance, this laptop has no floppy disk drive. And as the number of working computers that have floppy disk drives decline, it's going to become increasingly difficult to recover data stored on these disks. The fate of the floppy disk is really something that every electronic medium will eventually face, whether it's a memory card, such as that within this digital camera, USB flash drive that a lot of people use these days, data tapes, such as we use to back up our servers, and audio CDs and DVDs. All of these things will eventually be replaced. We're starting to see it happen with CDs and DVDs. As if that weren't bad enough, all of these things are inherently unstable. Hard drives, such as that within this laptop, are prone to mechanical failure. They can also become demagnetized, which is something that can happen to these disks. USB flash drives, people love these things. They have a way of dying without warning. They have finite lifespans. Manufacturers will not tell you what that lifespan is. And CDs and DVDs can corrode, or the layers that comprise the disk can separate and render the data unreadable. So those are the problems associated with hardware. We also need to take into account issues associated with software. Software changes very rapidly over time, and if you've created a file using an older program, you might not be able to open that file today, even with the newer version of the very same program that you used. Moreover, many of the most popular software applications in use today are proprietary. That is, they are owned and controlled by a single company, and the files they create are in formats owned and controlled by that company. Sometimes companies allow other firms to create software that will access those files. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they decide that it no longer makes business sense to support a given format, and so the format gradually dies. So, how do we overcome these challenges? I'm going to share with you a few tips. First of all, if you have emails, other text documents, or still digital images that you truly cherish, you should strongly consider printing them out. For emails and other textual documents, a black and white laser printer will produce prints that are most likely to stand the test of time. And for digital images, a commercial photo lab will produce prints that are a lot more stable than those you can produce at home with an inkjet or even a color laser printer. It's not always possible to print out electronic materials, so we'll need to do other things to keep them alive over time. For analog video cassettes and audio cassettes that contain musical performances, answering machine messages, so on and so forth, the thing to do is to arrange to have them converted to digital format. There are a lot of vendors out there that will do this for you, but you really need to know a bit about the technical specs involved to ensure that you get files that will meet your needs. And finally, the most important piece of advice I can give you is you need to plan. Every 3 to 5 years, you are probably going to have to take some sort of action to ensure that your materials survive over time. It may mean copying materials on older media, such as this floppy disk, onto newer media or the hard drive of your computer. It may mean converting your files from an older version of a format to the newer version of the very same format, or converting your files from one format to another to ensure that you'll be able to read them even as technology changes. For more information about how to do this and some options for converting your older files, be sure to check our website. Keeping electronic media alive over time can be a real challenge, but with a little planning and effort, we can make it happen.